Hi, my name is Malka Ahern, and this video is on the topic of being in this world or of this world. So it's really beautiful how when it's the right time for something, synchronicities, divine synchronicities will abound and bring everything together that's needed. So last night, I received a phone call from somebody who was telling me about an issue she's having of not remembering names of people that she knows really well. During, like, in the middle of a conversation, all of a sudden you'll just totally slip her mind somebody's name. And so I was telling her, yeah, that I have the same issue also, and not just names, key words or phrases, or when I'm learning something, maybe things I need to do exercises with, will also just totally, my mind will blank on them, go totally blank. And it's actually something that I've been working on lately to try to get down to what the source is of it. And I noticed recently, very recently, that at times when this happens, there's more than one thing coming into my mind at the same time. So this morning, I opened up an Abraham Hicks video, and one of the topics was how we shut down when we have a really strong desire for something and at the same time a really strong belief against it. And one of the things I've also been working on lately is finding any underlying beliefs that might be hindering me from things. And so when Abraham was talking about this, it clicked with me that this is a source of my forgetting, my shutting down in the middle of when I'm talking, and my mind shuts down, remembering certain names or things, just blanking. This is the source of it. So I went on to work on, okay, so what belief is it that's behind this? And what came to mind was I know that many lifetimes I was blind, deaf, and mute. And there were other lifetimes where I was imprisoned and severely tortured. And what I came to realize was that there were fears leading through from those lifetimes affecting what's happening currently. And what came to mind next was that in those lifetimes, I was of this world, but not in this world. That is, I felt very much that this physical world was the reality that I was stuck in. And so I escaped to my own world so I wouldn't have to mentally, emotionally live in this world. I was just in my own world, blind, deaf, and dumb, totally shut down or in prison, totally isolated from the outside physical world. But in this lifetime, it's the opposite. I am in this world, but not of this world. Meaning, yes, I'm living in this world. I have a physical body. This is a physical, what's going on, but I'm not of this world. I know that the spiritual world is a true world. That's the reality. And that everything that happens in the physical world, whether it has to do with my body or my environment, things around me, are the result of my spirituality and my emotions. So let me give you an example that might help make this a little bit clearer. A number of years ago, I was in a friend's house going down the basement steps when all of a sudden my feet went flying out from underneath me and I came crashing down with the corner of the top edge of my hip connecting with the edge of the step. I kind of slid down the last couple steps, jumped up, and then was leaning against the bookshelf, just kind of in shock over what happened. And I decided to try to move my leg. And it sent shock waves of pain traveling up and down my entire body. I said, oh no, my hip is broken. And then my friend came down to find out what was happening. And I figured, let me try one more time. And I tried to move my leg, and the same thing happened, just shock waves going up and down my entire body of pain. So she called an ambulance. They carried me out on a stretcher, put me in the ambulance, took me to a hospital. And I know that things in life happen for me, not to me. And there's something here I need to learn. There's a reason for this happening. So the whole time in the ambulance, I'm trying to figure out what is here for me to learn. And I'm in the hospital laying on a bed, and the whole time I'm sitting there learning, we're trying to figure out what are things for me to learn from this. And there were some ideas that came in, some things that I figured out. And they took in the hospital, in the emergency room, they took an x-ray and a CAT scan and stuff, and they said nothing was broken, I could go home. I said, okay, fantastic. Go home, right, how? So I figured, let me try. And I tried to sit up with their help, and I was able to sit up. And to my amazement, I was actually able to hobble out of the hospital, get into a cab, and ride home. So I knew that something was happening, something was working. The next few days I spent basically on my back. I couldn't even lie flat on my back. I had to have things kind of at an angle, whatever. But I was basically laying down the whole time. And a friend sent me an email about a dream that she had. And what I received from that dream was, and she knew that dream was for me, what I received from it was how to go about figuring out what lessons I had to learn. I had to look into each physical part that was affected by this accident, and what each thing had to learn, I had to learn from it, and also the overall lesson that I needed to learn. So I spent a number of hours one night figuring all of that out. And when it was done, I actually all of a sudden received in my head this message, this idea that in 3 days' time, it was going to get better. I was like, okay, let's see. And 3 days later, it actually started getting better very quickly. So by the end of a total of a week and a half after this accident happened, I was able to bend over, pick things up off the floor, jump up and down. And what I forgot to mention was that when I was laying in bed at home, when I got up, I had to be perfectly straight, because if I bent even the slightest bit, it felt like my whole back was tearing open. That whole area around the hip was like tearing open. I couldn't bend the least. And within a week and a half that I was able to totally bend over, pick things up off the floor, I was amazed. My friends were saying it was impossible, that such things take the minimum of weeks, if not even months to heal because it was the back, the hip, pivotal point. So yeah, so here was an example of how being in this world but not of this world, the spiritual and the emotions do actually change and affect the physical, whether it's a body, it actually also extends the physical all around us. So this was something that came through today for me that I learned quite a bit from, and I thought I'd put this video together in case anyone else was able to pick up and learn from it also. So thank you for your time. And if you'd like to find out more about me and what I do, as I said before, my name is Malka Ahern, and I work with a quantum health process called the Divine Reveal. So my website is www.thedivinereveal.com. That's THEDIVINEREVEAL.com. Thanks again for your time and have a great day.